Season 2 Noelle is the best character in Black Clover Mobile, and with this guide you can make her a broken DPS. So let's start off with all the gear sets that you're going to want to run with her, and starting off we're going to go for the Ominous gear set, and we're going to be going for the 2-set bonus of a 7% increase in attack and magic attack, and then the specific pieces we're going to want are going to be the Ominous Whip, and then the Ominous Crystal, and then you're going to want magic attack main stat on both of these. And the next best gear set for her is going to be the Secret of the Deep Sea set. This is more so for PvP, as because a lot of people are going to be running Noelle on their arena teams, you're going to be facing and be coming up against a lot of mirror matches. So to remedy this, we're going to be going for the 2-set bonus for the Secret of the Deep Sea set, which will then allow you to be able to get all of your damage off before your enemy Noelle, as long as they don't also have this gear set as well. And then we're going to be going for Conjure of the Deep Sea, as well as Essence of the Deep Sea, and then for both of these gear pieces, we're also going to want magic attack on the main stat. So at this point, it really doesn't matter what you necessarily run on her, as pretty much you can just go for anything else at this point, as the attack bonuses, as well as also just the speed bonuses, are more than enough. So you could go for the Ancient Mage's Relics on the 2-set bonus for the extra 220 in attack and magic attack, and then of course the 2 crit sets of the Noble's Inheritance with the Noble's Robe and the Noble's Orb to get us that 5% extra crit rate is going to be really good, or Resolute Judge to get that 7% extra crit damage whilst using the Judge's Crossbow, as well as the Judge's Seal. And then if you want to as well, you can also go for the Nature's Wonders set to get that 7 extra penetration, and then we'll be going for the Flora's Essence, as well as the Flame Horn to give us that 2-set bonus. So for substats, literally anything that will increase all of your damage, pretty much being both of the crit stats, as well as you can also technically benefit off of attack as well. But the most important one is going to be just magic attack, as well as just magic attack percent. Those two are going to be the most important substats, as Noelle's stats are more dominant towards her actual magic attack, so you want to be able to increase that as much as you possibly can. So moving on to the talents for her now, and let's start with the attack talents. And the first one you're going to be wanting to go for is going to be the increased magic attack talent, as it will grant you a 7% increase in magic attack, which will be a much bigger value than you might think, as when combined with her unique passive, which will just give you a flat 10% increase as well as also some of the other 2-set bonuses of gears that I've just listed, you'll be able to stack so much magic attack, it'll be crazy. And then Battle Frenzy is another fantastic one. This is going to give her extra crit rate at the start of every wave, which is also completely fine and really great to run, and it will actually allow her to crit a lot more consistently, which is going to allow her to do even more big damage. So defense talents, we're going to be going for the increased defense one, just for the extra 20% defense, as we're going to want to keep up this Blessing of Water buff that she has for as long as we possibly can, and then endurance as well to give us that extra crit resistance, as well as the 4% defense buff, as pretty much the only way people are going to break her shield is by critting her shield, which is kind of the only way that people are going to break it, so giving that more crit resistance is going to be so crucial. So for our support talents, it's either you're choosing one of 2 main ones, which are going to be the Swiftness one or the Mage's Blessing one, as the Mage's Blessing will have a 20% chance to reduce the cooldown of your skill 2 by 1 turn at the start of a turn, and then there's also Swiftness, which will grant you an extra special point buff upon having less than 2 special points, so pretty much every time you use your ultimate, you'll be able to get an extra special point back. And this is the one I probably recommend the most, as although Mage's Blessing can be good, as it can allow you to keep her shield, have her shield uptime even higher, I think just because it's a 20% chance just makes the Swiftness one so much better, because it's just guaranteed value. And then we're going to be pairing this one with the increased damage resistance, just so she takes a little bit less damage and also blocks better as well. And then for the Carvstones, with the attack talents, you're just going to want to go for the one that gives you attack and magic attack on the Carvstone. And then for the defense Carvstone, you're just going to want to go for the one that gives you an extra defense bonus. And then for the support ones, you're going to want to go for anything that can increase your speed, so any Carvstone or engraving stone that you have that will increase her speed is really good. Okay, so now on to skill pages. So let's start off with her actual skill page, although this isn't actually probably going to be her best in slot skill page, as the upgrade effect for Noelle's skill page is basically you keep everything else to do with your skill, but it will grant an ally HP recovery equal to 50% of her magic attack if they have an active barrier, which I guess then does actually make Noelle a completely all-in-one kind of character, but it's just really not needed at all. And then the passive for this skill is going to be a 20% chance to grant a barrier equal to 5% of damage taken for 2 turns upon taking damage, and this chance is just way too low for it to even matter, so it's kind of literally a pointless skill page, as it doesn't necessarily help her do what she wants to do, which is going to be dealing damage. So I would actually recommend that you don't use the skill page and you use these ones instead. So starting off, we have Leopold's Lion Spirit. This is going to give up to a 15% all attack buff. We have Chief's Appearance for the extra 12% crit damage. Respectable Rival for also extra 12% damage. Scorching Grudge is really great for the 10% all attack. The Captain's Dignity is also a fine skill page if you want to give her that extra crit rate. And then Sea Serpent's Pride is also another fantastic skill page for you to use. And then the more free-to-play options of Breath of Darkness and also Mysterious Ancient Book are really great things for you to use. Alright, so before I go into our actual team comps and her skill level priorities, let's actually go over what she actually does first. So her skill 1 Aqua Wave is going to be an AoE skill 1 with damage ratios of 55% for both attack and magic attack, and basically if she has an active barrier, then she will attack after granting a weapon enhancement level 1 buff, which is going to be a 30% damage increase. And then if an active Blessing of Water is present, she will then also grant herself a level 2 weapon enhancement buff, which is then a 40% damage increase. And then her skill 2 is honestly what brings her whole kit together, which is going to be skill healing, as this will grant all allies a buff using water magic, and it will grant a designated ally Blessing of Water equal to 120% of her own magic attack for 2 turns. And basically what this does, it will create a barrier that provides immunity to a set amount of damage depending on how much magic attack you have, and then will trigger a counter attack upon taking damage. And this will only actually trigger if your enemies can't actually take out that Blessing of Water barrier, or just your barrier in general. And then it will then also just on top of that apply another barrier equal to 100% of magic attack for 2 turns. And then it will then grant all allies a 10% increased favored damage dealt buff. So if you're using her against a green character, she's going to do 10% more type advantage damage, which is ridiculous. And then her ultimate, you started it, summons a massive water sphere that engulfs all enemies, dealing damage. And this is where all of your damage is going to come from, which is going to be from this ultimate, as she will attack after granting herself an increased magic attack level 2 buff, and then will then after that also then grant herself another increased magic attack level 2 buff, which can be a 55% magic attack increase. And then the damage ratios for this are 90% each for both attack and magic attack, and the upgrade effects are 12% extra AoE damage on for both attack and magic attack, which is ridiculous, and making this skill just hit like an absolute train. Then her unique passive is just a 12% magic attack increase, and then her enhanced passive is at the start of a wave grants 10% of max HP as a barrier, and then for 2 turns, and then once you get it to actually level 5, it will then change to a Blessing of Water barrier instead of an actual regular barrier, and then you should scale off of 15% of your max HP. So with that all done, I guess it's time to finally go on to team comps and what are the best teams for her. Well, if I'm being honest, my favorite pick to pair up with Noelle is going to be Rades Spirito, as I believe his barrier alongside Noelle's barriers actually do stack, which is kind of ridiculous, and it's just going to make your team so tanky, especially when using his ultimate #1 Carl. And then the next character is going to be Veltos, as Veltos is honestly just a fantastic support for Noelle, as his ultimate or special skill Myriad Black is going to allow your Noelle to be able to act way before any other Noelles will, as long as they don't also have Veltos. But of course, I would actually recommend Lotus, as he is just an unbelievable character overall, and his speed reductions, the incapacitate, the removal of buffs, the extension of buffs, the concentrated attack if you have his skill page is ridiculous, and he's going to be such a valuable character in literally any team you use. So on to all of the skills that you want to level up with her first. So I think one of her first priorities is either between her skill 2 of skill healing, or it's her ultimate of you started it, as both of these 2 skills are her most important skills, especially with skill healing giving you that counter attack is ridiculously overpowered. Then after you've leveled up either the skill 2 first or the special skill first, and then vice versa, and then you level up the other ones. Skill 1 Aqua Wave is going to be another fantastic one for you to level up. So there you have it. That is it for everything to do with the Season 2 Noelle. She's a very broken character, a must-have character, and if this guide helped you, then please make sure you like and subscribe, as it's free and it helps a ton. But most importantly, leave a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.